Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor. Breaking news, I guess. We sort of already knew this, but Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen to file for divorce after 13 years of marriage. I'm here with Christopher Melcher to break this down. How you doing, Christopher?
Well, pretty good, Andy. This story's getting a lot of attention.
Well, we reported on this a little bit ago because the rumors were this was already happening, and we gave some insight. But now that it's official, I wanted to get your divorce expertise on what can we gather from all this, because as I've seen it, it looks like there really doesn't seem to be much drama. It happened very quick. They've both made statements. In fact, let's read Gisele's statement first. Is that a good place to spot? Let's see if we can gather anything from this. Gisele said, "With much gratitude for our time together, Tom and I have amicably finalized our divorce. My priority has always been and will continue to be our children, whom I love with all my heart. We will continue co-parenting to give them the love, care, and attention they greatly deserve. The decision to end a marriage is never easy, but we have grown apart. And while it is, of course, difficult to go through something like this, I feel blessed for the time we had together and only wish the best for Tom always. Kindly ask that our privacy be respected during this sensitive time. Thank you, Gisele." Thoughts on a statement like that, Chris?
Well, it's a very nice forward-looking statement affirming that she's grateful for the relationship she had with Tom as spouses, and now they're going to move forward just as co-parents. Now, some people are parsing this statement because there's a lot of we's, but then she shifts to first person here at the second sentence. So, she's talking about Tom and I have amicably finalized our divorce. My priority has always been and will continue to be our children. So people are reading into the shift between first person and then speaking collectively about both of them as implying that Gisele was the one who focused on the children and that she's subtly telling us that Tom wasn't. I don't know that we can get into the linguistics there that much to understand her intent, but some people are saying that.
I mean, I gotta say, like, as someone who had to make a statement like this, when I, came back with my apology, like, every word is scrutinized. You have I had 10 people, all looking at, well, do you say this? So it is interesting because to say my priority has always been and will continue to be our children, it could have easily been our priority is to always look out for the children. And she made a choice there to say my, which, I can see why some fans are thinking that's shade. Would you have clearly, if you were looking at the statement, I imagine when you're counseling couples and so, like, you guys still look at or advise from time to time on the statement that's being put out there legally, et cetera. Would you have made a comment on that? Would you have let it slide? How does that typically go?
Yeah, it's hard because a lot of these things have to be done quickly. They're trying to keep ahead of the story before somebody else breaks it. So, we can't really obsess over all this stuff. And what's interesting that the more exposure a statement has or a tweet or any kind of social media post, people can read into it in ways that we never anticipated. Here, I don't see any indication that she was trying to be negative against Tom. I mean, the tone of this message overall is very positive and forward-looking, and talking about how grateful she was to be in a marriage with Tom. So I don't think that she had any intention to pass judgment on him or to send us, the rest of the public here, secret messages about what Tom's involvement was with the kids.
Well, there you go. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. What do you think? Now, Tom has just recently also commented as well. In recent days, my wife and I finalized our divorce from one another after 13 years of marriage. We arrived at this decision amicably and with gratitude for the time we spent together. We are blessed with beautiful and wonderful children who will continue to be the center of our world in every way. He didn't say my world, he said our world. We will continue to work together as parents to always ensure they receive the love and attention they deserve. We arrived at the decision to end our marriage after much consideration. Doing so is, of course, painful and difficult, like it is for many people who go through the same thing every day around the world. However, we wish only the best for each other as we pursue whatever new chapters in our lives that we've yet to be written. And we kindly ask for privacy and respect as we navigate what is to come in the days and weeks ahead. Thank you. And it looks like they both actually wrote around the same time, 5 hours. So It wasn't like he could have reevaluated after seeing her choose the word, my instead of our. But yeah, his seems like he's putting on a united front, which again, the big idea, a lot of people out there making theories. Well, she's the one who's filed. Does that make a difference? A lot of people saying, Christopher, because she filed for it, she's the one with an issue. A lot of people are jumping to this conclusion that he's cheated. There is no evidence of that. In fact, the contrary. Gisele's apparently sources have said, no, that's not what it was. Although this could have been Tom Brady's sources putting out there, oh no, we've grown apart. Do we have any signs from your experience as to like who left?
Well, it's hard to know that. I think that there were stories that Gisele was upset that Tom was, continuing to focus so much on his career, and that she was expecting him to kind of withdraw a little bit from that and focus more on being at home with the kids. Now, who knows? Who knows what's true? We certainly know both of them are hardworking folks, and that it's hard to be together as a family, every night for dinner or every morning for breakfast, and having these routines that a lot of us really are lucky to have together as a family when you're so busy and your job takes you away from home so often. My guess is that this couple did grow apart, and although they have kids together, if they're not spending time together, they kind of lose focus on what was important to them. And over the last couple weeks, before we hear now this confirmation that they are over as a couple, we weren't sure if they were going to find a way to work this out. And I was hoping that they would find a way to work this out, because they seem like a really loving couple and they've got kids together. And I was hoping that they would find a way to, remain together in their marriage. But obviously they gave it a lot of thought, and it wasn't an easy decision. And this is the one that they made.
Yeah, 13 years. And yeah, if I'd be remiss to not bring up the other thing that people are talking about, which is his ex-teammate, Antonio Brown, trolling once again, putting out images of him with Gisele. He's now photoshopped himself over Tom Brady. He has now photoshopped Tom Brady leaving. He already had done this previously. This is when Tampa Bay had won the Super Bowl. And now he's gone and put the shirt out for people to buy. Apparently it's for charity, but clearly this the rift that they had previously is continuing. But here he is exploiting and trying to, I guess, get at him during the season. I guess this is what's that called? When the players are all trying to get at each other during the season. It seems like this is what's going on here. But hey, I don't support this. It's just mean. But a lot of people are enjoying that he's just clowning a lot of people don't like Tom Brady because of sports. He always beat them. It's easy to root for the person there, but I'm sad for this family. I'm glad though seems to be amicable. They got so much money. Does that help when both people have a lot of money and they're just sort of wanting to move on? When a big celebrity divorce like this happens, is that sort of easier to get through?
Well, yeah, it certainly there's a lot more to account for and figure out, do they own things together? They were building this home, really a mansion in Florida. And so, that's one discussion point, like who ends up taking over that project? Because I imagine, or maybe they want to just continue it off together and sell it. So those kind of decisions need to be made, but plenty of money to hire people to work through those issues. No one's going to go starving after this divorce. And my focus is always on the kids, because every child who has a parent going through a divorce is going to be impacted no matter how well you plan this. It's their parents breaking up, and it's big changes in their life. And if you imagine then amplifying that through everyone in the world talking about it, every headline talking about your parents' divorce and questions. And here this seems like, there's no scandal happening, but many times we do see scandal. And then having all that publicized, how embarrassing, humiliating is it for those kids, how hard it is for them to move forward. That's, should be everybody's focus, the judge, the lawyers, the parties, to, make that easier in these cases. Here we've got two celebs. And when you have two celebs getting a divorce, typically we see it handled in this way as kind of an example for everyone. It's like, hey, you can have disagreements and you can work it out quickly and quietly. You don't need to go to court. These people need to do this out of necessity because it's a huge distraction. It threatens their brand, their reputation if they were to go public with it. And that's why we see very few examples of two celebs going at it. Kim and Kanye, obviously an example where they went to court. Tom Cruise, Katie Holmes didn't go to court. Brangelina still in court. So very few examples of two celebs going at it publicly.
I mean, one could argue because there's they're protecting the brand. They don't want any of this stuff out there, that even if there was some sort of hanky panky, which whatever, I'm not even saying there was, is that sometimes in a celebrity's best interest to just sort of ignore it and move on and put out the statements and just get the divorce done? So there isn't more salacious headlines out there for the sake of the kids, for the sake of each person's brand. I mean, could there be something maybe we don't know on either side? And I'm not pointing at Tom, or just whatever. Is that something that happens in these high profile divorces?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you look at the attention on this story, and to me, it kind of indicates that there wasn't anything going on, because if there was, you got so many media agencies out there, paparazzi, digging into things, somebody would have came forward by now and said, yes, I'm the, person that had an affair with one of the other. And so we don't see any of that stuff. So yeah, it needs to be handled quickly before, things spiral out of control. And when, again, it's celeb on celeb divorce, it's a lot easier because they both know, like, this is too dangerous, too toxic for them to mess with. And they want to keep the focus under things that they control, positive things for their brand, and not this. So, but the problem cases we oftentimes see is celeb versus non-celeb breakup. And then the non-celeb basically saying, well, hey, maybe we need to go to court. Maybe we do need to have a hearing on this thing. And it's a subtle way of saying, make a deal with me or it's going to be public.
There it is. Well, what do you guys think in the comments down below? Do you think she's slamming him? Was this a little shade, or do you agree with Christopher? No, this is just the accident of a word. I don't know. I feel like they would have gone through every single word in that statement many, many times. So I'm going to say a little bit of shade, but I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for all alerts for us, smash the like button, and tell us what you think. Shade, no shade. Also, while you're clicking on things, go support Christopher Melcher over on Twitter. You can follow him there. He's also on YouTube. You can see he doesn't post as much, but when he does, go subscribe so you catch it all. Thank you so much, Christopher. I'm so excited to see you in Vegas. Everybody, we're going to be in Vegas. We'll see you guys next week on the 4th and the 5th in Vegas. So stay tuned. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Stay tuned for more coverage here on Popcorn Planet.